I'm Macy Eglund. Victims speaking out about their trauma after they were victimized by their doctors.
I think the worst part about it was that he took such advantage of my vulnerability.
The system that's supposed to punish doctors who break the rules didn't. A 2-year Newsday investigation explores dozens of cases where doctors weren't disciplined and were allowed to keep practicing, even though they were convicted in criminal court or found liable in civil court. We'll have more on that Newsday investigation coming up. Only in Newsday, speed cameras catching thousands of Long Island drivers speeding through work zones. 54,000 tickets were issued in Nassau and Suffolk between May of 2023 and May of 2024. It was part of the statewide automated work zone speed enforcement program. You can read more about Newsday's year-long investigative series looking at Long Island's dangerous roads on our website, newsday.com. Only in Newsday, the state's top court is set to hold a hearing on when you vote.
We will not take this lying down. Where's the ballot?
Nassau and Suffolk's county executives teamed up yesterday to denounce the 2023 state law mandating even-year local elections. The State Court of Appeals has expedited a hearing on a lawsuit over the move and will hear arguments in September. First in Newsday, a revamped Green Acres Mall in Valley Stream. Work is slated to begin next week on the $130 million project there. And today, the Circle M Diner in Wantagh, opened by two brothers back in 1975, is celebrating 50 years in business.
I thank most of it, my helpers, my employees, and most of all, my customers.
To mark the occasion today, Circle M is offering a $5 breakfast, lunch, and dinner menu. Let's talk about your forecast if you are headed out for breakfast. Yeah, we've got a wet Wednesday on tap right now, looking okay on Main Street in East Hampton, but yeah, we have some changes on the way. Let's take a look. Showers and thunderstorms are possible this afternoon. It will be windy too. Gusts could get up into the double digits at times. As you see on the Futurecast, the rain sticks around pretty much all day through the rest of this week and into the start of your weekend. It's not looking good on your 7-day right now, but Sunday looks nice, sunny, highs around 74 degrees or so, and the start of next work week is looking pretty good too.
Long Island weather is brought to you by Fire Island Ferries.
Only in Newsday, a 2-year investigation has found that dozens of Long Island doctors were allowed to keep practicing despite being convicted of misconduct in court or found liable in civil court. Here's what we found.
I trusted that what he was doing was the right thing. I didn't know.
I grabbed his hand and I said, "What are you doing?" And I stopped him.
Our society trusts doctors. We just do.
That trust in tatters for Beth Maffey and Gina Salgado, former Long Islanders who grew up seeing Dr. Stuart Copperman, a former Merrick pediatrician. They say he repeatedly abused them as young girls.
His head was resting on my inner thigh, and I could tell you right now, I could still feel that feeling of his hair on my thigh.
Gina says Dr. Copperman would tell her mother to leave the room and do a pelvic exam, saying she had a fungus that needed to be cleaned.
It's almost like he devised this plan, like this thing that he knew that any young girl would be too mortified to ever talk about to their friends or their parent.
Gina eventually did tell her parents, and after they filed a complaint, she went before the state's medical disciplinary board. Her story, along with another young woman's accusing Copperman, were very similar, despite never speaking to each other. And yet the panel, made up of 2 doctors and 1 non-physician, dismissed the case.
The thing that upset me so much was knowing that he was going to continue doing this to girls.
First it's 4 women, then it's another 7 or 8 women, and then all of a sudden it's over 100 women.
In 2000, following several complaints, Dr. Copperman's license was revoked.
It took how many more years after I went to court? Like 10 more years. How many girls he could have done this to in 10 years.
Dr. Copperman was found civilly liable for abusing over 100 patients, but Kristen Fedden, who represents the victims, says there could be thousands more.
There could have been a chaperone in place. There are certain alternative options that they potentially could have employed to either catch him, stop him, or prevent the furtherance of abuse, and they didn't. They really failed these young girls.
The court awarded $1.6 billion to the victims, though their lawyer says they'll only see a tiny fraction of that money, if any at all. Dr. Copperman has refused to comment, but in the past has denied the allegations to Newsday. He was never charged, despite the abuse being reported to police. His story is one of several. Our team of investigative reporters analyzed thousands of pages of documents and data, finding 46 Long Island doctors continued to practice despite allegations against them, including things like botched surgeries and child porn charges. If doctors are accused of some sort of misconduct, their case is brought before the New York State Board for Professional Medical Conduct. About 2/3 of its members are physicians.
It was like a fraternity, and they were all going to stick together, and they weren't going to listen.
The chairman of the Board for Professional Medical Conduct, Dr. Thomas T. Lee, tells Newsday, quote, "Each case is considered and deliberated methodically in accordance with the laws." Our analysis has found a drastic drop in disciplinary action against doctors in recent years, even as the number of physicians has gone up. Cases that resulted in discipline were down 35%, from an average of 168 cases from 2011 to 2013, compared to 110 cases a decade later. Chairman Lee acknowledged it increasingly relies on warnings rather than formal discipline.
The governmental processes in place didn't protect these children.
And not much has changed. Data shows in 2023, there were 30 times as many complaints to the board as there were final actions. And most legislative efforts to crack down on the issue have failed. Victims say something needs to be done to rebuild the trust they've lost in those who took an oath to help and heal.
She's at the same stage of life that I was at when that man took what he did from me. And I don't want the same thing happening to her.
This was just one of the cases Newsday investigated. There are several others. To see our full documentary and read more about this story, go to newsday.com, click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. We are learning more about the now viral video of this large great white shark just off of Montauk. We showed you this drone video yesterday, taken on Monday. We spoke to a local shark expert about it.
Really neat about this drone footage is this appears to be a very big female. It could be a male that had a massive meal, but this appears to be a very big female. Why is it here? Well, we actually think that these sharks aren't just using the waters around Montauk as a nursery ground, but also a place to have their pups. So could this female be here giving birth? There's a very strong possibility.
It's pretty neat. We also spoke with Craig O'Connell from the Montauk-based OC's Conservation Foundation about how close sharks get to the beach.
A lot of the sharks that we encounter are very close to shore. Within 100 to 200 yards, 2 football fields away, especially in the summertime when you get what we call the fuel of the New York bite, the menhaden, the bunker, those giant schools of fish, those hug the shoreline and the sharks are feeding directly on that. So whenever you see bunker, whenever you see these massive schools of fish, it's probably a good idea to get out.
You can watch our special report on the uptick in local shark sightings on newsday.com. Just click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. All right, tonight could be the night. The Knicks are on the verge of sending the Celtics packing. New York has a 3-1 series lead over the defending NBA champions. A win in Boston punches the Knicks' ticket to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 25 years. Let's see if they can make it happen. Tip-off is tonight at 7 o'clock.
Not long ago, Kevin Mahoney was pitching for Miller Place. Now he's throwing to Francisco Lindor for the Mets here at Citi Field.
My goal in high school was just to get Division I baseball. That was my goal, was to be a Division I baseball player.
From Miller Place to the major leagues, reimagined.
I grew up rooting for the Mets. I grew up going to Shea Stadium and watching the boys play there.
Mahoney was drafted by the Yankees, played in the minors, coached, and later became a GM in Tennessee. But this?
It's a dream come true for me. You know, I never made it to the major leagues as a player or coach at the time.
So what does it take to throw to some of the best hitters in the world?
I got to stay physically healthy and make sure that I can throw the amount of pitches that I need to be throwing on a daily basis. The players in particular are always asking me how I'm feeling, and they're trying to protect me as well, because it's important that I can, throw and get them prepared.
But there's more to it than just a strong arm.
I've learned the players' routines and what they're working on and things like that, so that I'm available for them in the cages and feeding them tee, toss, machine, whatever they need to prepare themselves physically, mentally, having conversations. It's very similar to what they'll get right before they go outside. We try to paint the picture of what they're going to see if that's what they need. A lot of times these guys do their homework.
And they tell Mahoney his role is major in every way.
They make it easy, and it's just been a really good environment to be a part of, and I'm glad I've got the opportunity to do that.
From Citi Field, Carissa Kelman, Newsday TV.
Read more about the Mets on Newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box.
"46 Long Island doctors were allowed to keep practicing after convictions, arrests, complaints, and judgments. Broken practice, an exclusive Newsday investigation."
It's now easier than ever to watch Newsday TV on your TV. We are officially streaming on Local Now. You can also find us on YouTube and all of the other streaming services that you see here. I'm Macy Egeland. Thanks for watching Newsday TV. Have a great day.